Alright, you're gonna have to bear with me about the wind noise. It is absolutely ridiculous here. Absolutely crazy. So it's been blowing basically ever since I left San Antonio. It's been blowing on top of wherever I was through the night. And all the way from there up to the mountains of a city called Azone or something like that. It just kept getting progressively worse and worse. Now, on the bright side, despite the fact that it's so freaking windy, I've managed to kind of do like a whoop-de-whoop. So this morning's brouhaha about delaying and being blocked and all this other stuff. Sheer fact that I was delayed by a couple of hours. It allowed all that crazy weather to pass, which is really good for me, certainly. Meaning that all that rain, and if there was any hail or anything like that. Yes. This is absolutely insanity. So, ever since I've come down from a zone into Fort Stockton, like between there and there, it's really beautiful. Like, I'm willing to wager that the stretch of Texas going from San Antonio up until Fort Stockton is gorgeous, if I say so myself. And as soon as you pass Fort Stockton, it is just so. Let me pan around this way. I hope camera is picking this up. See how everything there is gray and white and milky, and how over there that's like a dust devil right there. See that? So all around as you drive, these fields of, you can actually see it right there. Like, this is what you're driving through, and it's like a wave after wave after wave, and the wind is coming from that direction over there, sort of like there-ish. All the vegetation is gone. What constitutes vegetation is like that stuff over there, and the amount of ridiculousness. There was a stretch, like, see how there's mountains over there in the back? There was a stretch when you're driving through like the mountains, but you have those, I'm not familiar with Texas, so I apologize, like southern portion of Texas. Whatever mountains that are between the Big Bend National Park and I-10, those ones. You could see glimpses of those magnificent looking, and it was like dust everywhere, just like for a split second they float off, and then you see the mountains, and then everything is covered in dust. My dash cam has hopefully picked up a few. I've actually driven through a few. It was really like just ridiculously bizarre. But the weird thing is, I'm gonna try and, if you've ever been to Blue Ridge Parkway, okay, the reason why it's called Blue Ridge is because there's like this distinctive blue hue. And oh, by the way, Texas rest areas, wow. Okay, whomever spent the money and the effort to make them, I mean, dude, everything is just like Florida. Take notice, by the way, because Florida rest areas absolutely suck. But almost every single one has some sort of like that, you know, and all sorts of just like, you know, something to enjoy and appreciate. But where I was getting at is, if you look over there in the back, right? See how everything is kind of like smoky and hazy, and there's like layers of this right there? Right? That is absolutely crazy. That is so cool. And as you're driving towards it, you Wednesday, and then you have to drive through the pass that weaves through that. Oh, dude. The only complaint is that it is windy as hell, and RV obviously is like a giant sail. I have had to drop my, now as you know, I travel like a grandpa anyways. I'm driving like 60 miles, 61, sometimes 62 in my motorhome. Always has been, always will. I don't ever drive faster. There's crazies out there that drive like 80. And then you see them stranded on the side of the road, a couple hundred miles up. So, as I'm driving, the wind, because it's coming from that direction, is pushing, everything like this. And it's just like this wave after wave after wave after wave. Like every fiber of my being is, oh my goodness, the smell. I'm a squirrel. Whatever this is, right here, whatever this is, the smell. Oh, dude. It is like, whatever this is. Oh, my man. Well, maybe it's this. No, not that. But, honestly, it is so freaking beautiful out here. If it wasn't so windy, I'd appreciate it so much more. But at the same time, like those dust devils and those walls of white sand, they give it that certain character. So, anyways, because of this morning, right, because I got delayed by 2 hours, it doesn't look like I'm gonna make it to my destination. So I'm cutting today's trip short by 2 hours. And based on what I found is right around El Paso, there's a there's a truck stop over there. There's like a Love's, I think a Flying J, and a Petro or something of the sort. So I'm going straight for Petro, just looking at the Google satellite imagery. The Google satellite suggests that Petro has the most amount of pull-through sites. In fact, like ridiculous amount. So I'm going straight there. And I'm hoping that once I get there, I will actually be able to do what I need to do to park. Now, once I get there, I know for a fact it's going to be impossible for me to reach Gooseneck State Park at the time, on the time schedule that I wanted. Very unfortunate. So I'll have to engineer some sort of drivable solution, because Wednesday is my work day, so I actually have to work, believe it or not. And also in New Mexico and in Arizona, it is bloody freaking impossible to find a place to park because it's all Navajo territory over there. There's a very small place where you could park. It's called like Angels something campground over by I think it's called Blumenfield. It's around Farmington area. So right around there, there's a campground where you could park. It's like a BLM land type thing. But it means that I have to drive sort of there, where I need to drive like there. Now, granted, it's all kind of doing this number to eventually get to Goosenecks. If I'm not going to Goosenecks, because the objective for me to go to Goosenecks to obviously do the Hanukkah hike, and which means that I need to be there Wednesday evening so that I could actually hike on Thursday. I expect it to be more or less like at least a 3/4 day, maybe even like a full day hike kind of thing. So it means I already have to physically be there. Because I need to unhook my Jeep, I need to get ready, I need to pack everything and So it means that theoretically I should have been there Wednesday, Now, the preference for me was to make it to Gooseneck State Park on Tuesday, and obviously that's not going to happen anymore. So there's still a possibility, however slim, that I could get there on a Wednesday, but only if I camp at the Angel Campground. But the weather is horrible. Like, they're having feet of snow over there, and it's like a mud type road with I don't want to get stuck over there, if you know what I mean. Some decisions to make. Now, on the bright side, if I could somehow, and this is just like a crazy thought, spur of the moment, I'll have to cogitate on this once I actually arrive to where I need to arrive. Oh, look how beautiful it is. You could see how the dust more or less blew over. Dude, look behind me. How amazingly awesome that is. Now, that wall over there, if you could picture it like 3 times higher, is what I was driving along the side of, all the way from like an hour or so after Fort Stockton to get to here. And then you start weaving between all of that stuff. So that was really cool. But if I'm completely giving up on going to Goosenecks entirely, it means that I need to get myself to Moab, which means I have to figure out a way how to get there along the same kind of thing. I know there's a thing in Farmington where I could stop. That would mean that I'm having to sacrifice Thursday to get to Moab, basically, because on Friday I absolutely have to be in Moab to basically pick up my mom, which is kind of the reason why I'm racing like this. Like, there's more of a time crunch than anything. Oh, there goes the wind again. So, some deep thoughts for tonight. My first order of business obviously is to mosey over to my next destination. I'm arriving there hopefully an hour and 40 minutes or so. My goal is to get there basically at 6 or so, and then maybe a little bit later park and figure out a lot of things, because yeah. Oh, by the way, if tomorrow is Wednesday, is tomorrow Wednesday? I've even like lost track of days. I have no idea what day of the week it is anymore. But either way, once I get there, I have to figure out what I want to do. And once I figure that out, I'll let you know. Alright, till next time.